So welcome to the podcast. Man. I'm a podcaster. Can you believe I cannot believe it. You are probably nowhere near as shocked that I am. But hey, we're here, we're doing it, we're gonna make this work. I'm your host, Stevie Thomas of Ballin' Out Kennels, and we're gonna do what we always do, and we're gonna talk about some dogs.
Big old coon too.
Obama. Thank you. Boy, if that don't make you smile, I don't know what it is, man. I don't. You need to check your post, bro. You did. So I just wanted to welcome everybody to the podcast. I'm gonna reveal the name here shortly, but man, I'll tell you, it's a real surreal experience to really sit and think that okay, now I have a podcast. It's pretty cool, and I kind of say I'm kind of nervous to be honest with you. I started leaning more towards doing some teachings and stuff like that as far as my social media goes. But it's a lot different when you got the camera. Now I got a microphone in front of me, you got headphones. It just adds another element to what we're doing. It's no different than with a dog. You know, you take a dog, you got one trained to do a certain thing, and then you put them in a different environment. It'll take them some time to really get used to what's going on, and I like to think I'm no different, man. But for those who don't know, my name is Stevie Thomas. I run Ballin' Out Kennels. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much all the social medias. We just do a lot of content surrounding dogs, outdoors. We do a little turkey hunting, mentorship hunts. It's just all centered around those type of things. Dogs. I love dogs. I got to give a huge shout out and basically the way this first episode is gonna go is basically I'm just gonna welcome everybody. I'm gonna give a breakdown of what you can expect, give you a breakdown of what the goal is of the podcast, and give you a breakdown of what listeners this podcast is for, the format of the podcast, kind of what dogs we'll be talking about, and some of the elements we'll be talking about as far as dogs go, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up with that. Again, I'm really hoping to do an episode a week. But again, it's a lot different now. You got everything going. You got the camera, the microphone, all that sort of stuff. So it's gonna take some getting used to, and I really appreciate y'all coming along with me. Again, I really truly enjoy inspiring people who have never done something before, and I've never obviously produced a podcast doing it all by myself. Just letting somebody else know that man, you really can do it if you want to put your mind to it. If you want to take a leap of faith and do some of these things, you have all the opportunities and avenues to do it. You just gotta go off on faith sometime. So my background, I'm actually in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement probably 8 years now, roughly. I work at the Waterloo Police Department in Iowa. I tell you what, I'm part of. I'm probably biased, but I really have one of the best departments I think in the country as far as the people I get to work with and even the community I get to work in. It is truly special, and I'm really thankful to actually be a part of police department I'm a part of. My squad members, give a shout out to my my A squad guys, early swing. A lot of those guys and a lot of people you get to meet and become friends with in law enforcement is truly a blessing, really. I know there's people that can go one way or another with law enforcement, but I truly enjoy, being a part, being an officer. There, I'm also, on our tactical unit. I've been on a sniper team for a little bit, field training officer. They used to allow me and give me a lot of avenues to explore a lot of stuff that I truly love doing. So I give all hats off to like my police department and those in that environment, that space that allow me to kind of express and do the things I love to do. But outside of that, outside of law enforcement, man, I love hunting and I love running dogs. I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois. I'm always gonna give a shout out to the 815. That's really where I come from. Rockford is northern Illinois for people who don't know. I was born and raised there. All my family is still pretty much like there. My mom and my dad. I got four brothers. And you'll see on the cover of my book there, I got two of my brothers and my dad on the cover, and they really truly shaped who I am and what you see today. If it wasn't for them, I tell you, and it wasn't always easy, and I'm not going to go too far into that story right now, but we made it, and I'm so thankful for my family and just everybody I've come in contact with and pushing me and just all those sort of things you go up when you're growing up. So I really want to thank all my family for sure. Like I said, I went to college. I went to St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa. That's pretty much what brought me to Iowa. Um, I played football up there. Again, the Fighting Bees. I got a lot of memories of that school. We were actually ranked 3 in the country when I was there. Great group of guys we had when we were playing football in college and that sort of stuff. Um, like I said, I was graduated from St. Ambrose. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology, bachelor of science in psychology. Um, I just love that sort of stuff, the brain and how things work. I've always been a person to try to figure out why is something the way it is, and I really took that part into dogs. It's really no different. Once I really took a hold of that, and we'll get into that just a little bit, but once I took a hold of that, I really wanted to figure out why dogs do what they do and how to make it better. Really trying to understand the dog, really trying to understand their nature. You can't go outside of nature. Nature is undefeated, is what I like to say. You can look at a squirrel. You never have to tell a squirrel it's time to bury nuts. You never have to tell a rabbit, to run in a circle. Nature takes a hold. It's just they do what they're gonna do. It's no different with a dog. A dog is gonna do what he's gonna do. We try to offer a little bit of encouragement one way or another, to allow them to pull out some of that potential that they have. But nature is undefeated. That nature is gonna do what it's gonna. Hey, real quick, are you somebody who's new to rabbit hunting with beagles, or maybe on the fence and trying to get started or not? You might want a little bit more help getting pointed in the right direction. Well, I got just what you need. Producing a future rabbit dog. So in this short little book, I pretty much lined out exactly what I like to do when I'm picking my puppies, when I'm training my dogs, and just some other concepts I've learned over the years. Me, Ty, with a bunch of my mentors, put this together. A lot of this information is easy to follow. I want it to be as easy as possible for anybody who's never got in with dogs or rabbit hunting with beagles to be able to produce a future rabbit dog. So if you sound like that's you, go on and check it out on Amazon and grab you a copy. What really got me into dogs? So while I was in college, a little bit after I graduated out of college, I was with a young lady at the time, and I got introduced to some of her family, and they knew I was hunting. We've been hunting for a long time. Me and my brothers and my dad, again, my pawpaw, big shout outs to them. We started out rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting. That is exactly how we started. And I really think a lot of people getting into it, that is a great way to get your feet wet in hunting. It teaches you so many different things when you learn in the rabbit hunt, squirrel hunt specifically, because a lot of times you see squirrels in the city and you can kind of get up close to them, and you kind of think, oh, this would be easy to hunt them. When you're out there in the wild, that's a totally different creature, and it's hard to believe until you're actually out there trying to hunt them. A squirrel in the wild or a rabbit in the wild, you'll see, a rabbit in the yard or something like that. You can kind of get close to them. No, you got a rabbit in the wild. He is a completely different monster. They're very smart. They had to survive that long because something out there is always trying to eat them. Anything wants to eat a rabbit. They taste really good, and I'm sure for animals they're the same. Something is always trying to get them. So that's a really different creature than what you see in the city. But really got me into dogs is I give mentors are so huge. They're so huge. And I got to give a big shout out. And if somebody, check out my social media, is a person I talk about a lot, Mike Lensing. He took a lot of time in teaching me about running dogs, training dogs, and hunting with dogs. He was the first person that I had actually went hunting with dog. Him and his brother, Dave Lindsay. They pretty much kind of shaped me and introduced me into hunting with dogs. So Mike was really big into it, and I think the first time I ever went was actually squirrel hunting. We were squirrel hunting, and he had a dog named Tough at the time, and Tough was spelled different, but he actually was tough. He was a really good squirrel dog. I'm pretty sure we got a limit of squirrels that day, but again, I was just so fascinated by the whole thing because I've never actually seen a dog do what he did, going and treeing a squirrel. We always still hunted and got squirrels that way. But understand now you can cast a dog out there to train on the scent, be able to go tree. I didn't even know what treeing was. I just know the dog was making a lot of noise, and Mike got some excitement, and we went over to the tree, and now we have to search and find that squirrel in the tree. So that pretty much got me started as far as that go. And followed up with that was coon hunting. Mike also took me coon hunting for the first time, and we were with Maggie. Um, Maggie was a American Leopard dog, a Leopard Cur, and she's actually the mom of my dog Bama, who's a Leopard Cur as well. She's the mom of Bama, and she passed not too long ago. But I'll tell you what, that dog was as accurate of a coon dog as I've ever even seen to this day. I've been in dogs probably close to 10 years now and hunting with a variety of people and a variety of dogs. Maggie, she was an excellent dog. She's one of the ones I give my hats off to that really stuck it to me and got me hooked in hunting with dogs. Because every time she treed, she had a coon. There was no question. When Maggie located and treed, and for new people, we'll get into some of the terminology because I want you to have everything you need moving forward to give you, confidence in hunting and being with dogs, hunting dogs specifically. But anytime Maggie located and treed, you never question if there was a coon up there. You just always question how many. That was just how good of a dog she was. But we'll get into some of that other stuff, and it'll be fun to tell some stories and that sort of thing. But I really want to break down, what I'm thinking far as the podcast go. So pretty much the podcast is gonna be for people who are new into hunting, new into, hunting with dogs, new into somebody maybe on the fence and deciding, okay, do I really want to hunt with dogs or do I not want to hunt with dogs? What is it like hunting with dogs? What can I expect hunting with dogs? Where the heck do I even get a hunting dog from? I'm tailoring this podcast to those type of individuals, and not saying other people can't listen to it, because I'll be talking about, breaking down training concepts, breaking down some of the stuff that I do when I'm picking puppies, some of the stuff I do when I train a young dog or a puppy, doing some of those things and talking about, those concepts. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not somebody who will say the way I do it is the way to do it. No. It's just like in life, there's so many ways to accomplish a certain goal. There's so many different avenues that you can take to get the same outcome that you're looking for. I just want to offer people a way to do it. I'm not saying the way I do it is the way to do it, but it's a way to do it. It's a way I've been using for a very long time. And all my mentors and throughout the process of the podcast, really hopeful and you'll be able to meet some of the people that really influenced me. You talk about over 300 years of experience with dogs, hunting dogs. You're talking about all sorts of dogs. We're talking about tree dogs. We're talking about rabbit dogs. We're talking about bird dogs. I have access to a lot of people who have really poured into me and who I have access to ask questions, on top of the amount of time I put in myself. Yes, the mentors are a great resource, and yes, they can get you started in the right direction. But it also takes you as a hunter, you as the owner of the dogs, you as a person who's trying to get, put a foot into this game. You have to put in a lot of work. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's super easy, but oh my God, it is fun. It is a lot of fun. It takes a lot of patience, but the rewards on the back end of it outweigh the headache, outweigh the stress, outweigh, how much patience you really have to have. It is truly something special hunting with dogs. But again, the podcast is going to be for people who are just new into it, somebody who's on the fence, getting them started in the right direction. So I've done some mentorship hunts, to where we take individuals who are new to rabbit hunting, or specifically for me, or new in hunting in general, and we take them out and show them how it actually works, what they can do, how does it work, how does it work running with a beagle, what are beagles used for. Now a lot of people don't understand that beagles are used to hunt rabbits. There's select people out there who have no clue. So we take some of those individuals who, are curious about it, and we take them out hunting. They ask a ton of excellent questions, and being able to pour back into somebody who may have been hunting their whole life, but have never experienced that side of hunting, never experienced hunting with dogs. We, really show them another avenue, and you'd be surprised how many people, just the same as I was, get hooked on that. So again, that's what it's really for. And what can you guys expect? So basically, we've been talking about some basic training concepts, as I mentioned earlier, some strategies I've used. We'll go into some gear breakdown that I've liked to use over the years, some equipment that may be necessary or unnecessary. Uh, and I know there's a lot of podcasts now that have the interview segment to where they invite a guest on and they're interviewing this person, and getting their story and getting, who they are and what their involvement with dogs and that sort of thing. That's something I'm gonna incorporate, but that's not gonna be the main priority of this podcast. There are so many excellent podcasts out there who have that format. I mean, tons of them. And I listen to tons of podcasts myself. There's so many excellent ones out there. And if you haven't heard Ben Sheets with Tree Talking Tom, he is a veteran in the game of podcasting. He has hundreds of episodes at this point. He is excellent in what he do. If you ain't never, tuned in to one of his podcasts, he's all over the place. So you can look him up and listen to a few. I guarantee you'll be hooked too. He does a great job, and Ben doesn't know it, but he's an influence on me. Having a conversation with him a little bit, and seeing what he's done in the podcasting world is truly incredible. So again, with Ben Sheets with Tree Talking Tom, if you haven't went and listened to one of his podcasts, I'm telling you, you're missing out. It's something worth checking out. And then we'll offer, some live, question and answer, to where some people who are new to hunting will be able to submit questions and that sort of thing, and try to get answers on an issue they may have with their dog, or just general questions they have with rabbit hunting. Again, the dogs we're really going to be talking about and what I mainly focus on is beagles. I do a ton of rabbit hunting. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. We'll be talking about tree dogs, from treeing squirrels and coons. Um, I have American leopard curs. That's the type of tree dog I have. I do have an original mountain cur as well. We'll talk about some of the different breeds that have the capabilities of treeing, and how you can find some of those breeds. I'm gonna not say the American leopard cur is the only tree dog or the best tree dog. I mean, I would say they are. I mean, they are absolutely phenomenal. But we're not gonna try to be biased here. We're just gonna give people options. That's really what it's all about, giving you options and allow you to pick the best choice out of what you have. So we're again, I talk about beagles, American leopard, tree dogs, and I'm just really getting into bird hunting right now. I have a couple setters at the house here. And that's going to be a segment on its own because I've never trained a bird dog. So I'll be working on something as far as the bird dogs, how to train them. And I'm going to be talking about the things that I've learned in this short period of time I've been working with them that may be different from a rabbit dog or a treeing coon dog. It could be something different. And I'm learning a lot. These dogs will teach you so many things if you just pay attention. You just really got to pay attention. The dog will tell you so much. And that's one of the fascinating things for me is you take this little creature at a point in time, you get a puppy, like this dog can't talk. Like it cannot talk. And you have to figure out what it's saying to you. You have to be able to communicate with this animal, and they can't talk. That is always something fascinating to me, and being able to read the dog. There's so many cues that a dog has given a person, from just a young pup to a younger dog, to an older dog. There's just so many cues that you really have to pay attention to, and you're really getting, a connection with the dog. That's really what it comes into. It's like you can hunt rabbits with just, kick and brush, which I've done for years when me and my brothers were coming up. We did that quite a bit. Times have changed to where we used to hunt on railroad tracks. That's what we used to do in Illinois. We used to go far out into the country. My papa used to know places or know the farmers in the area, and we literally would hunt railroad tracks. We would get in there, and before I actually had dogs, me and my brothers were the dogs. Our dad and our papa would, work the tracks, and me and my brothers would be down in the brush, kicking around, stomping around, and getting that rabbit to run. Um, that's just how we started. And I think it played a huge role for me when I actually did get dogs, because now I had a concept of what is good rabbit cover. Where's this rabbit supposed to be at? I got to the point to tell you, we're walking in an area. I could pretty much tell you where that rabbit is going to come out at, where he should be sitting at, based on the time of day, based on the weather conditions. I knew which brush to kind of kick and which not, and to be ready. And eventually, once we got past that part, we were actually allowed to start carrying the guns and doing that sort of thing. It's just it's basically a baby step, a stepping process, a learning process from beginning to the end. It's no different with a dog. You're gonna take a young pup that doesn't really know anything, and we're gonna walk through and talk about how to get them to be, a rabbit dog or a tree dog or a dog that points birds or flushes birds. We're gonna get all those information step by step. We're just gonna build off of all of it. So I say you can always hunt squirrels and rabbits for just yourself, but it's really truly something special when you have a companion of a dog that you trained yourself, and now you're out hunting together. You're a team. You are a team. I've been a part of the teams my whole life, ever since I was, knee high to a grasshopper, playing basketball. I played soccer when I was younger, to football, all the way up through college. I played on team sports, and it played a huge role in my development as a person and in my development as understanding the benefit of a team. Again, yes, you can do it solo. Don't get me wrong. I won't discourage anybody from doing that. But we really talk about using dogs and utilizing. Dogs have been around. I mean, the history of hunting dogs goes back, oh my goodness, a long time, centuries. They didn't just drop off of here onto earth nowhere. People have been hunting with dogs for a long period of time. We're just kind of benefiting off of and continuing to learn and perfect the craft of hunting with dogs. So again, and talking about the format of the podcast is pretty much what I'll be doing. I just was mentioning it's going to be a lot of me talking about some of the concepts, some of the questions and answers I've received over the years, and just basically baby stepping and walking through what starting a dog looks like, picking a good dog, some of the stuff I like to look for, contacting breeders, some of the things to keep in mind, some of the pitfalls that comes with breedings. I've had experiences where things don't always go the way you want them to, that somebody could learn from. And then taking a younger dog, things you can do to keep them progressing in a certain direction, all the way until they basically graduate into being an older dog, or a dog you just go and hunt. He knows what he's doing, you know what he's doing, and now you get to really enjoy that dog. Now, I will have from time to time, I will have some people on, as I mentioned earlier. I will have some people come on and interview them and just tell stories. Um, you cannot talk about hunting without sharing the stories. That is another thing that really hooked me, is the stories. All the stories from different hunts, the funny stuff that happens out there when you with your buddies hunting. Oh my goodness! I mean, you cannot beat it. You can't beat it. It's really one of the things that holds you. Telling the stories, just listen to the different stories. There's a few stories I had my dad tell multiple times, and it doesn't matter. It's still funny to this day, even though I've heard the story probably 20, 30 times at this point. Those sort of things. And just the amount of memories that you can make out there in the field is what it's about. Now, I've really kind of shifted. Don't get me wrong. With hunting with dogs, we do eat what we harvest, especially rabbits. I love eating rabbit, and we'll talk a little bit some episodes down the road. We'll talk about how to cook, ways I like to cook them, way I like them being cooked. Because I know a lot of people are becoming a lot more interested in that aspect of it as well. Man, it doesn't take much to go to the grocery store and see what's happening there to make you want to start being able to provide for yourself, and utilizing the dog and utilizing the wild animals that we have can play a huge role in that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Like I said, we eat what we harvest. Um, but even if you're a person who is not necessarily going to gun hunt their dog, we still want to provide some value to you too. I've kind of gotten away from harvesting so much. I hunt year round. I run my dogs year round. Obviously, our hunting season here in Iowa is usually from basically September, and rabbit season ends the end of February. Most of the others are done, the end of January, or some are the beginning of January. Some of that in that time frame. I'm always running, so it doesn't always mean a harvest for me. I still enjoy my dogs. Um, Again, going back to sports, it's really no different. The off season is really what makes or breaks an athlete. It's really what, if I'm out there working harder and putting in the work and perfecting my technique. When I played in college, I was a DB. I played defensive back. I played safety for a little bit, but then I transitioned to corner, and that's where I made my living. Um, if I wasn't in the off season working on my craft, working on my back pedal, working on my plant, my breaks, being able to catch, all these sort of things. So when season came, it was just easy. It's really no different. That's the same exact approach I take with my hunting dogs. I hunt them year round, and sometimes that's when the work really begins. Because after you put the dogs through a season, you get to pay attention and figure out, okay, which dogs may need extra work, what things you want to improve with a certain dog. If you have younger dogs coming up, that's their time to really take advantage, um, and get that work in, whether that's solo working, whether it's just brace working. And again, as somebody who doesn't understand what I'm saying, we'll go through all those concepts and different terminologies when it comes to hunt with dogs. But we take all. I mean, we hunt year round. So if it's not, even if you're a person who may not want to eat what you harvest, or you may not even want to gun hunt, you still have a place over here. We're really just trying to build a community. That's really what I'm after in all of this, and basically giving back to my mentors. Because if it wasn't for them taking the time and answering the questions and going hunting with me and allowing and helping me look for dogs and just teaching me what they've been taught, I probably wouldn't be here. Mentorship is so huge and so key that I want to pass it on to them. And yes, some of them, hopefully will be on the podcast at some point. Um, but it's really a testament to them and giving honor and praise to them, because if it wasn't for them showing me what they did, I probably wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing right now, and found something that I truly love to do. And it's for me to share with anybody. I would take anybody hunting. I mean, and it's just so many things out there in the field that you can learn. Again, the dogs we're gonna watch do excellent work. We're gonna harvest a few animals, but it's even the lessons that you can learn out there in the field. You won't learn them anywhere else. You will not learn them anywhere else except for out there in the field with some dogs and some buddies. So again, I will have, I plan on doing a episode probably once a week. That's my goal. I'm probably going to be releasing them on Mondays is my goal as well. Trying to go through some of that sort of stuff, and we're just going to start from the very beginning as far as picking a puppy, what type of breeds to even pick, what if a person is looking for, talking about the different style and different types of dogs. Yeah, my focus is really going to be on beagles, and my focus is going to be on tree dogs, and we're just getting into some of the bird dog stuff. So we'll be talking a lot of concepts as far as that go. We'll have some guests on. I'm hoping that the episodes will be 30 to 40 minutes long. Again, just something so when you're on the road cruising around, it's something you can just pop on and take a listen. That's really what I'm after and what I'm looking for. Again, this is really surreal for me. Come a long way. I've been posting a lot of videos online for a long time, and it's just a nice steady progression to see where I was and where I am now is pretty cool. But again, I didn't get here all by myself. Um, and I'll probably sound like a broken record, but I want to be a mentor for other people, as well, because there's people out there who want to get into hunting, but they don't have anybody in their family who hunts, and they may be really wanting to get into and figure out how to do it. I want to have a place for them to go, and get some information, to be that extended buddy, to be that extended friend that they can pop on. I'm accessible through social media. If Steve Thomas or Balling Out Kennels on Facebook, we're on TikTok. Recently, I just got a TikTok, on Instagram. All those places have access to. Some people are doing it already, where I get tons of personal messages, asking questions, and just people are really loving the videos and that sort of thing. So I really thank a lot of those people too, who have mentioned to me, "Hey man, it'd be cool if you had a podcast type of thing." And at the time, I really didn't think anything of it. I thought, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. It's pretty cool." But then as you start hearing more people bring it up to you, it's like, okay, maybe it's something I should actually start looking into. Um, and again, it's gonna be a learning process, like everything is. It's no different than the dogs. It's truly a learning process. But again, I'm super excited to see what happens here. We got episode 1 out of the way. I think I'm gonna call the podcast "Thoughts of a Dog Man." I think we're gonna go with "Thoughts of a Dog Man." Because if you're anything like me, this stuff is a disease. It is a healthy one, but it is a disease. Mike tells me that all the time. Is a disease. It get a hold of you, and it will not let go. And you only way to cure it is to go cut some dogs loose. That is the only way to cure this disease, and it's only a temporary cure. It's only temporary. It ain't gonna last you for a year. It's gonna last you, if you like me, a day or two, and you got to go back and get some more, get some more health. Get another shot of it. You know, it really gets a hold of you. And the amount of people and the amount of friends that I've made with these dogs, uh, man, it goes without saying. So, well, I'm gonna sign off for here, but I'm tell you what, just keep looking out for the episodes. Again, I'm gonna try to put it on Apple iPod or iPods. Try to put it on Spotify and some other avenues to get the podcast out, along with social media. If you're just tuning into me for the first time, I have a lot of content on social media as well, mainly Facebook. I got videos of all the dogs, coon dogs, rabbit dogs, pretty much all my type of dogs. I have them on there. The mentorship hunts we done. I have some, learning episodes on there also. Feel free to check some of that stuff out. And don't hesitate to shoot me a message or anything. I'll try to respond back as fast as I can because it's a learn. I learn from you guys just as much as I try to hope that you guys learn from me. Again, we're in a community, and I'm trying to build a community of new hunters, but also hunters who are trying to pass on a tradition that somebody passed on to them. That's really what it's about. So, again, we're going to keep going here, and I'm super excited to get this thing rolling. Again, for most people who don't know, my name is Stevie Thomas of Ballin' Out Kennels. Hey, stay sharp, stay real, stay houndy.